Pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic
For which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good, I didn't get.
That's all yours.
So that's where the.
Yeah, right. I was looking at it.
You just have to wait for the council members to come in, but you have a quorum, so you're welcome to start the meeting.
All right. We'll get this thing started. Everyone take time to read through it. Yeah, that's you. Yeah, go for it. We can do that. Okay, all members present? No. Mitch is not present.
Bench is streaming.
Mitch is on, okay. Yeah. So we're just running James. Do we know this then? Yeah. The announcement for tonight is that the EAC has a vacancy. We're accepting letters of interest. We also have two possible member, what should I call it? Members that can apply as well. So we have one full-time, right, and then two. Is that correct?
You mean, up to 2 alternates?
Two alternates. So we have one actual candidate and then two alternates, then there's no, so we can continue taking leadership. Anybody else have anybody? I have one person that still needs to.
I know we have one letter. Is there more than one letter submitted yet?
We only have one that is submitted.
We have 2 letters.
We have two, I know Vicky submitted and someone else.
2 letters the town got that I know of.
Okay.
And we have until December, did we say?
Yeah, we talked about that at the last meeting, and my recommendation is extend it through 2026 because you have the holidays coming up.
Correct.
The supervisors, this is gonna be the first time they've had it on their agenda.
That makes sense.
And I'd also like to give the township an opportunity to advertise this virtually, like you all discussed. So if you're willing to give it a little bit more time, then I can work with the township to get that on social media and try to put it in the newsletter at least once or twice. I think that might help, increase your outreach.
Yeah, I was hoping that Lewis would at least be able to be an alternate because he is a biologist. And, it's just easy to get along with and knows a bit about what's going on with that.
I'm not open to anyone who's willing to have good input,
Yeah, I was just.
especially with it's a donation of your time.
Absolutely. I was more thinking along the lines of for our events and things,
Yeah.
even if he is an alternate, he would be able to be a part of the meeting.
As a biologist, that's amazing, and that would be great.
The problem is he's constantly out of town because he's right now founding bats in North Carolina, so we couldn't get him all the time anyway, but just. So I think we can get Lewis for nothing else as an alternate.
Yeah, it'd be good if you can speak to him and have him submit a letter, right? So, and then, just make sure he indicates alternate.
Sure.
Well, we lost a woman on this council. So it would be good to have at least one more woman.
Absolutely.
Well, no, two letters off of one.
Well, that's good.
I'll just add that I think it's basically a balance between availability and experience, right? So like you said, we're volunteering our time. So people who want to be a part of the council, I think we should keep encouraging. And then ultimately, like you said, there is a little bit of a review that goes back to experience, biologist by definition would be somebody who would be a perfect fit on the council. And ultimately, do we have any type of way we're gonna review those letters. I know we personally received one, that was given to all of us. Do we have a way to review the rest of the submissions or, we don't really have a protocol on that yet.
We'll wait till it closes, I guess, and then we'll discuss it before then.
Okay. And it's also, we should be clear that it's ultimately, again, we're only making a recommendation, right? And the supervisors still eventually vote on that or appoint, is that right?
They appoint.
Right, right. So we should have some type of way of reading the letters, maybe making a recommendation as a council and then giving it to the supervisors and ultimately it's their decision, which will defer to regardless, right?
Yeah, maybe we can make that, one of the items.
Cause like, yeah, I've read one letter, but I haven't seen the other, and then I know there'll potentially be a third. So,
Well, I mean, it's worth probably discussing as a group.
Well, let's hope that the media advertising will bring out more candidates.
sure,
Yeah,
sure,
but as far as the agenda item as well, we could, talk as a group about, what it is that we're looking for, we feel like we're looking for is
right. I'm open to extending it as long as we need to basically make the right decision. Whatever the right decision is, we just extend it as long as possible to get as much input, people, and then we'll go from there.
great.
Here's my letter of interest. It's old school, it's handwritten.
Thanks.
They don't do it very often anymore.
And then,
Make a copy of it.
sure,
Yeah, frame that shit. It's some good stuff.
the signature of it.
You want me to sign it?
That's worth money, the other.
Let me give that a.
There you go.
Ready for this?
John Hancock.
There it is.
Mr. Collins, probably a doctor's signature.
Hey.
So I think we're good with that, yeah.
So now you have three, or
What's up?
now you have three.
Great. We're doing good, alright, we'll review the minutes. I did not get to review the minutes, but, I don't know if anybody had any influence here.
I wasn't here, so I'll have to explain.
No, I had looked over them earlier, actually printed them out.
I printed them and I needed to review them as well, but just based on the meeting at the time, I didn't find any objection with what was discussed.
It was a lot of us, too clear, but. Don't know immediate changes, questions.
No. Well, basically, everything was discussed.
Motion to accept the minutes.
There's a motion.
Second.
I'll second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All right.
Mitch, did you vote on that? Are you able to hear us?
Yes, I said aye. I am with you.
All right, new business, we have no new business. Unless anybody.
No, good.
Anybody from the council? Any new
Well,
business?
I'm jumping ahead again.
We had some events at least.
I'm jumping ahead again. On old business, but I would like to throw it into new business if we can. The January educational hike at Mount Minzy. I actually looked up, that's why I have my phone out. Apparently in Massachusetts, it started in 1992 and spread across all 50 states. It's what they call the first day hike. You do
Oh,
it January
yeah.
1st.
Yeah.
I know, Harvard County does a few, but, if we could maybe try to hit that as a, first day hike. Obviously weather permitting, but
I'm not opposed
try
to it,
to, maybe a new tradition with the EAC or something.
sure.
I like it.
Is it something that has some traction on social media or like you said, all 50 states? Is that something that we should?
I didn't get really depth in it, but I actually looked up what the actual day was called. It's just called First Day Hike, so generally done January 1st. And it was established in Massachusetts in 92. And a lot of places are on board with doing, January first hike.
Yeah, there's,
For your New Year's resolution to start off healthy.
that's, yeah,
There was a group that did it in Delaware Water Gap, I can ask, I know some people that were
Yeah.
involved, so. There might be a group that's still there, but, I'm gonna make a note. See, I'll do some research and see if there's anybody that's planning one already.
Alright.
I think that's a great idea. Just depends on what time.
yeah,
Yeah, a lot of places do it around noon.
I think, we would work.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good idea, and we can make a note, it's also worth considering that maybe not everyone's available on the first, because that's the holiday.
that's fair as well.
So,
But it doesn't allow for more people to come out during the holiday.
right, but you have to also remember that, you gotta try to see if any, maybe we should try to. See if everyone, because we want at least the EAC to attend, and folks are on vacations or visiting family, I mean, you might wanna. Doing it on a holiday is, does pose some logistical challenges. Although I like the idea, because it has a nice spirit to it.
Yeah.
It's very exciting.
Let's do 2 of them.
Yeah.
It'll be fun.
Well, the educational hike at Mount Minty, which is, I'd like to say we jumped ahead,
Yeah,
but.
do we have a meet on that yet?
No.
Okay.
This kind of, as far as old business is concerned, we can discuss the newsletter first, because I suppose we would probably need to get ready so that we can post these things. Yeah, right, so we gotta get that in now.
Yeah, you're gonna wanna decide on what you like in your December newsletter, probably wanna have that submitted. By the 1st December, 2nd December, beginning of the month, so. At your last meeting, you talked about maybe discussing the wastewater treatment plant discharge in the Broadway Creek, because this group submitted a letter and they also had members that actually testified at the hearing and attended it. So I don't know if you still wanna talk about why that's a concern and why people should care, and
Yeah.
that's one thing. Then, you can also advertise the hike. You could
Yeah, I mean,
maybe also mention vacancy on the board, right?
absolutely, yeah. Well, I think as far as the newsletter is concerned, we do have to get together, between now and the next meeting and. Pull something together, I don't know, if we should do a little, like, subcommittee to do that, or.
It'll probably take one meeting.
Right.
Maybe 1 hour, a few folks just getting together here in the office, that's how we have the subcommittee with the official map and put something together. I can put a draft together. And then send it out to the subcommittee, and then you guys can come here. It might not even take more than a half hour, but it's not a bad idea if you guys are actually willing to come here and do that during, work hours.
Yeah,
Not
absolutely.
everyone's free though, right?
The next meeting is,
I don't have work hours.
yeah. Sure here.
The next meeting's on the third, yeah,
So-
that's,
So if we can plan to just meet, maybe at the end of, well, it's Thanksgiving's Thursday, then. We could do maybe a Monday or the Tuesday before the next meeting, that is
it might not be a bad idea to do it on that Tuesday, 2nd of December.
2nd of December. You guys are right with that?
Just really quickly, I'm of the persuasion, kind of like most of us, I'm coming straight from work. Obviously, we're all volunteers. I think that this is definitely something worth spending at least a little bit of time on. So whether we meet virtually, whether we meet, even on a weekend for coffee, but it's worth doing to get the word out. There's obviously the discussion on the hike and the dates and things. There's several things we can all talk about. I'm also okay making these like a working meeting, in the sense of we can either try and breeze through these and get out of here as quickly as possible, or we can make these working meetings where we basically take the time to discuss it and decide right now. But either way, I'm with Todd, I'm with Eric, that, I'm with some gentlemen, and so I came directly here, and it's worth spending a little bit more time on these things that we're
Yeah.
committed to.
I'm good after 2 o'clock on the 2nd. I have an appointment in the morning.
I think there'd be an issue with having more than, was it 3?
Having more than 3 is
Yeah.
important, so 3 max.
And this is
We cannot have more than 3.
As a subcommittee.
Okay.
right,
Have a subcommittee.
And then, yeah, and the next, I mean, for that newsletter, there's not much that's going into it, but we could also, as the three of us got together, we could plan for the one half that's on.
Yeah,
So,
that's true.
um,
The January one, yeah.
yeah, maybe kind of pull together a rough draft of something that we wanted to submit and then talk about it the next night at the meeting.
To kind of go through it, it's a good idea.
So I'm good for Tuesday, we can figure out a time in between now and then
Okay,
on email,
all right.
we'll go from there.
2nd of December, we said.
Do you want to
Tuesday,
meet,
December 2nd.
yeah, you want to meet virtually or in person? I mean, I don't know, Mike, if you want, maybe we can meet in here, set up a Zoom meeting. And send virtually and we can have Todd and Eric meet in person, but
Yeah.
if you wanna do it like that,
I'm willing to do either way, but it obviously work schedule dependent.
yeah.
I'm totally fine with Zoom. I don't have to be here in person.
I mean,
It's just worth doing. So yeah, whatever date works for everybody, but I think we should do it.
I'm good with two. Two
Yeah.
on that Tuesday.
2 p.m. on December 2nd.
Yeah.
Okay.
We
I can make that work with my work schedule
We
as
can
well.
pull
I
together.
can set out an Outlook invite so everyone has it.
Yep, yep. Thankfully, I do have a busy schedule, but flexibility, so I can make that work.
Well, I'll plan for that.
Okay.
Just get it through to you then.
Okay,
I can set out some draft ideas in the meantime, so you have some materials to work with.
sure, thank you.
Yep.
Thank you. All right.
Old business, as well, I guess we can talk about the vote. For the official map. Is that on there? But it went
Well,
just.
I included a copy of the letter that was generated from that, it's actually in your packet here. I noticed that some of y'all don't have binders, not sure what happened with the binders.
They're somewhere,
Okay, but anyway, you should have a copy of the letter. I actually don't have this on here.
at least,
That's a copy of the wastewater plant one probably, is that the one for the DEP? Yeah, that's the
yes.
wastewater one.
Yeah.
There's 2 letters that were sent, we're kind of jumping around here, but. Since your last meeting, the council, in collaboration with the board of supervisors, submitted a comment letter to the DEP on the wastewater treatment plant. And that I talked about a little bit before, and then much more, recently, this letter was sent to update the official map to the county per your.
That's right.
And that's what I'm including here as well.
All right, we got that right here.
So there's a lot that's been going on the last month, even though you haven't met.
Yeah.
So I just want to, as a matter of transparency, give you a copy of that letter, see that it was sent, the county has received it, it's a matter of time until they, set something up, but next steps are in progress.
Great. Alright, so,
We're discussing both of them, really.
yeah, I mean, just so everybody understands what we're talking about, we had, we did a presentation for the board here, the Smithfield Township Board, and presented the official map updates. It went really well. We asked them to reach out to the Monroe County, who is it? Planning Commission, and they agreed, and we agreed upon a 2026 deadline to have the suggestions updated to the map. That includes the pedestrian bike path that was the plan that was put together, which was great. Everybody seemed to was well received, and look forward to see, look forward to see how that goes over the next 5 or 10 years or however long it takes. But interesting to kind of be a part of something that might come together and we can see some change in the township. But if anybody has any questions about that, you can ask, or we can, I think we're all good there, right?
I'm good.
Okay. And then you were talking about I went with Alex actually to East Stroudsburg for the hearing.
Wanted to go to that.
Which was interesting to be a part of it, because you got to hear, I mean, I was a little frustrated after you explained how it was at 5 o'clock and there wasn't a lot of people there. Because as I talked about it to people in town, they had no idea.
Yeah,
So, I
There
think
was no advertisement on the East Stroudsburg Borough website, on their Facebook page, at least as far as I saw. So I was looking to stream it ultimately, again, being on the road and, wasn't able to, so, yeah, maybe not the best time to have the meeting, but ultimately it's an important topic to discuss, so.
Sure, and also for newsletters and things, you know, in the future, when. You know, decisions like this are being made, it's something that we can do on our own, is, you know, include it in our newsletter. You know, shed a little light on opportunities for the public to show up in support of or against changes.
Even just on the concept of the newsletter, even if it's a one-liner, right? Because we just talked about 3 or 4 different things that are pretty important to the nature of the council. So even for educating the public, even if it's a one-liner, meeting was held, letter was submitted. Map presentation was conducted, letter submitted to planning commission. That way it just gives people an idea of the bullet points. Because again, the level of engagement is gonna vary based on, you know, the public.
Yeah, I also think that if more people understood, you know, kind of the severity, you know, of the.
Right.
Of the action being taken or not taken.
Right.
By the DP. I mean, that affects everybody. I doubt there'd be many people that would be, you know, for that type of. Influx of sewage going into the road, but. As far as the hearing is concerned, I mean, they just take the letters that were submitted, they take the public comment, right? And then they do with it what they will, and decide how much it weighs on the actual decision that they make.
The DEP had a 10-day period after the hearing that ended, I think it was actually yesterday at like 4 p.m. where they were accepting written comment. In that period, that's when the township submitted their written comment, and its weight is equal as the rest of the testimony at the hearing. I don't know how many other comments they received, probably a decent number, plus the testimony at the hearing, which was somewhere around like maybe 10 people actually testified, including Mitch, from your EAC. I think he actually submitted a comment letter. Then what's generated is called a comment response document, which could take some time. And that is typically issued with the draft permit. And that's where the DEP basically addresses every single comment and gives their explanation as to, you know, just how it was addressed. So procedurally, that's the next steps. In the meantime, the sewage plant continues to operate as is, and the DEP does internal deliberations and considers whole testimony, and maybe even submits all the testimony to the applicant and requires them to respond to all of that. I've seen that happen too. Of course, it's a bit of a black box. We may not see a lot of that until it's released finally. That could take several, I don't know how long it's gonna take. It could take several months, it could take a year, I don't know.
I was gonna ask about if we had a timeline or anything like that.
Unfortunately, I'm not aware of the timeline. I remember there was a hearing held for the Pocono Manor wastewater treatment plant a couple of years ago, and I still haven't seen that kind of response document. So
Oh, really?
that doesn't mean it wasn't issued, it's just I haven't seen it, haven't heard anything, so it can take time. I know that sometimes it can take a year or more for these kind of response documents to be generated and released by the DEP. There was a recent one, there's one up in Kubwa Township was recently released for a chapter 102 permit.
My just general comment on that would be, I don't really mind the amount of time they take. It's more or less getting that information out to the public.
Yeah.
So that way everybody can have a say ultimately, you know, it's not worth rushing a decision to get to the wrong decision, no matter what we're talking about, right? And obviously we don't have influence over the way that DEP operates, but ultimately rushing it to just get to an answer, if that's the wrong answer, doesn't make any sense. If it takes a year to get to the right answer for them to respond to everything, great. And just really quickly, I'll give a shout out to Mitch, Eric, you said you went, and Alex. Alex, I think, has done a really good job of giving us information to review, to understand the problems or the issue at hand, and giving us an opportunity to respond and then submitting a response. And I think that you did a very good job of, you know, more or less outlining, I think they're pretty general concerns. Anybody who has an interest in the water in Smithfield Township and Monroe County would share likely the majority of these concerns. And so, yeah, it's gonna be an interesting process to see how this plays out, because again, there wasn't that many people there. I looked for it actively and still couldn't find it. So, it seems like it's one of those things that could be something that happens, then gets into the public, sphere, and then everyone wonders, how did that happen? How did we allow that? And there was really not a lot of information shared during the decision-making process. So I commend Alex, Eric, Mitch for going in the first place, and I think the letter was submitted on behalf of Smithfield Township was very well written.
Yeah, and to your point,
Just one comment on the, you're talking about the wastewater, facility, right, at East Stroudsburg?
Yeah,
Yep,
I did contact Rosemary Brown's office and encouraged her to send a letter of support along the lines of what we discussed at the public hearing by the DEP. I have not heard back as to whether or not her office has done that or not.
thanks for that, Mitch. Yeah, and watching how this plays out, like you said, is important because
yeah.
in a year or in 2 years, when they finally do make a decision, we can either say we didn't do enough or we did exactly what we were supposed to do, and this is really important. So, yeah, like a root cause analysis of why things are or aren't going our way. And this is just the first step. So, good. On that, yeah, for our whole business.
I think there was,
We have stormwater management toolkit.
I listed that as, well, it was listed here on the agenda as table simply because.
Say what we last time, so it's a big.
Yeah, and that, it hasn't really, we haven't met in a month, so I figured, let's keep it on the agenda, like you said, but for tonight, there's really not a whole lot to discuss.
Yeah, and we, just on that, as far as the EAC is concerned, we can discuss how we wanna share that information, right? That is really what we talked about, so. We'll continue to do that and we'll keep it, tabled, but for maybe another newsletter or something to.
Yeah, it might need to be something you can put in the January newsletter when you meet on the second.
Yeah.
I can
Yeah,
maybe
that's good.
pull something from there as, something pertinent.
That sounds good to me. All right. Old business C, communication strategies, we discussed the availability or option for our own Facebook page. I think that we asked if we were gonna ask about that.
I haven't had that conversation with the board, but I did with regards to advertising, the EDC, that's like the first step towards that direction, so let's try to get that at least on social media and see what response. We did make some progress in that regard. Haven't yet had the conversation about the standalone Facebook page, so, or EDC.
Okay. But we ordered, what was it, 15 QR codes or something to be printed.
I did send a budget request to the supervisors to see if the EDC could have a budget for next year, and that included some of that type of thing. It also included, maybe registration for conferences. I was gonna talk about that a little later if you wanted to.
Sure.
Now, they have a budget meeting tomorrow, and someone from the EAC could attend and talk to them about the EAC budget, or send them an email, might be a little easier. I mean, it is gonna get advertised. I haven't seen it yet, so I don't know what's on it. But I did what you wanted. I sent a request for EAC budget. It's generally a best practice for a township within EAC to have some small amount of money just to provide for materials and communications, so. Probably won't be, a big newsletter like, you guys have talked about, like, Smithfield does. But maybe we could get those QR codes, maybe, put on works. Great.
It's a good start.
how much was the budget we submitted for?
I have to take a look at the email. It's not a huge amount. It was under $1,000.
Okay,
It was enough for minor expenses related to communications, printings, things of that nature. Maybe, reimbursement for registration at like a week at certain PA conference, to do a presentation or something like that, but nothing too crazy.
okay.
So if we can just make a point, if we can ask about our Facebook page, that would be something to request.
Yeah, I think that was, I know Robert had mentioned that in one of the previous meetings about how Julia because it's a legal question too, like if the township EAC starts putting stuff on social media, it could have liability issues, and that might not be something the solicitor wants us to do.
That's fine.
So it'd have to be
Understanding what it is, yeah.
we'd have to have a conversation with the township manager, maybe that's, maybe it's Robert, you can tell us, since you're the liaison, I don't know if that might be a good thing for you and Julie to talk about.
Yeah.
Or it's more a little.
Her argument was more complicated than I would make it. I'll talk to him, but
Okay,
Even without having a Facebook page, the newsletter that goes out every month via email is pretty significant. I think they do a good job, honestly. So that's worth just, I'd have to, off memory, I'm not exactly sure what presence we have in that newsletter. But I remember skimming through the last several months a couple weeks ago thinking, overall, it's well done, you know, it's a well done newsletter, so
it is.
getting our, you know, even if it's bullet points, getting our bullet points into that newsletter. If we start to kind of have this subcommittee with, again, literally 3-5 bullet points, just to keep people informed. But our newsletter currently, I would say, from the township is well done. And ultimately, aren't we in the more or less attention economy where everybody is competing for eyes and attention? So a local township environmental council, you know, only has so much weight to get people's eyes and ears. But getting our information in the current newsletter, I think is definitely doable, and it's a good start.
I have a
Yeah.
small suggestion though, with the newsletter, with the newsletter also with the, stormwater management. Maybe some bullet points on that in our newsletter. And, you know, I don't know who would want to do it, or a couple guys get together, maybe. Starting in the spring for people who never maybe gardened before, and they wanna, you know, collect rainwater. You know, possibility of starting a garden, somebody who's never done it before, you know, just with, some small tips. Some do's and don'ts for people that wanna, you know, try to become self-sufficient. You know, with the rising costs and everything, and we can point them in the right direction to, properly grow stuff.
Yeah, that could be, like I said, like a kind of a,
any do-it-yourself article would be welcome. Our problem is circulation. We have 8,000 residents. We have 800 of that circulation was the newsletter. Right.
But I look at it as if you touch one person and help them, you've helped someone.
Yeah.
I mean, I obviously know we're not gonna reach 8,000 people, but, I would, you know, say if somebody's looking for tips or something we could help them out with, you know, a small 30-minute seminar or something like that.
Yeah.
Or point them in the right direction where to look.
right, yeah, just by posting a link and.
Yeah.
Things like that.
And if anyone here wants to keep, like, it almost sounds like you might be willing to, like, we have a community garden that we might be refurbishing next year. If you're willing to give an education, I'd be happy to join you, because I do homestead gardening myself. I've been doing it for 10 years. I grow everything from corn, potatoes.
Yeah,
So if you wanna do it, I think it's a great idea. You know, I'd like for, you know, if I'm gonna do it, I'd like one of us to do it with me.
Yeah, because,
And then
you know-
I think it's a great idea to, like, step one, deer, that's the biggest thing,
yeah.
right? You
Most
gotta,
people-
you gotta figure out how to put together a formidable deer fence,
Yeah.
because if you don't have a deer fence, then you might wanna find a different hobby.
Yeah, cause I mean, most people don't know there's like 7 different things. I mean, your carrots, your horseradish, or your radishes, your garlic, everything, you can plant that now for July. You know, most people, they'll throw their carrots in April, May, and wonder why they got 2-inch carrots.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think that there's a lot that we can do on the homesteading, you know, food, kind of that avenue. And prepare for spring. If we wanted to put, I mean, we've passed the fall planting kind of
Yeah. Try to have that.
deadline. But there are also, depending on how you wanna, you know, kind of form the information, there are some things that you can plant without fence.
Right.
Yeah, there's ones that.
Seems to me.
I do wanna point out something also, cause we're spending the month in November picking up leaves. Those leaves are the best thing that someone can use for their own garden.
That's true.
So is it worth?
It's a natural barrier, it breaks down in, 90% of the, plant's nutrition is gonna come right from them leaves or something of that sort.
Yeah, leaf litter is a great compost, I agree.
Yeah, and we go around for the month of November, pick it up, and we dump it in a pile somewhere.
Well, you're also really lucky that you have Oak Grove here. I mean, it's free mulch. You literally.
Yeah.
Right, Robert? If you're a township resident, you just drive up to Oak Grove and put a pickup truck and they just, I mean, that's an amazing resource. It's
Yeah.
incredible that you have it here. I mean, the only other township I know that has that is Chestnut Hill. And it's an incredible resource and it makes gardening substantially less expensive.
Well,
Yeah.
One.
why don't,
That's something
why
I
don't,
don't even know now.
why don't we
Yeah,
make it
grow
both,
compost.
both mulch and compost?
Yeah, I mean, it's
Why
amazing.
don't we make a note that for the newsletter to hit on starting to prepare a newsletter for spring gardeners?
Yeah,
Then we can just kind of, that'll be a subcommittee.
I was just gonna say, more or less, it sounds like we're already kind of getting into the subcommittee aspects, but basically we should break down the newsletter bullet points into newsworthy updates, educational talking points,
yeah,
and then, whatever other bullet points we decide.
Looking ahead.
Right, exactly,
yeah, I
exactly.
mean, just from our own conversation between your father and my uncle with everything they did together moving cattle around.
Yep, there's a lot to talk about.
Yeah,
Maintaining, just maintaining a property, a 1 acre lot. You can produce a lot of stuff for sustainability.
that's a big conversation again, nationally,
Yeah.
internationally, the idea of sustainability.
But there's more and more people
Self-sufficiency.
trying to start a homestead on an acre or two.
Right, food cost rising,
Yep,
here's a small guide looking forward, create your own food in the Poconos. Guideline, workshops, whatever we wanna do, I think it's it's the right move.
Yeah.
Agreed.
I'll quickly just nominate myself in the sense of a former educator. I'm interested in just dispersing even basic knowledge. I agree with you, Todd, that ultimately, even if you inform one person, you just change somebody's life. If that was you, you would want your life to be changed from somebody reaching out.
Yeah.
So ultimately, even if you reach one person via this newsletter, it's still worth it. And so I'll just nominate myself to be on the subcommittee because I think educational background, getting succinct information, 3 to 5, 7 bullet points. We have a lot of things to discuss, a lot of things we could give to the community. So, good idea.
All right, so
Eric,
January newsletter.
Eric?
Some topics, discuss, yes,
Eric, if you're still on communication strategies,
yes,
I apologize. It's really hard to understand all of the conversation when you're trying to attend virtually. But one of my comments on communication strategies is that I think that we really should work hard to develop a good email list for all of our residents. And my question for Alex is, has he developed the QR code and the flyer that we can post around the community to encourage people to sign up for communications with their email address?
yeah, it was submitted, Mitch.
Alex, has that been done, or do we have that?
Well, I know you guys did talk about that, so I can re-up it and talk to the township, and put that in the queue of virtual things to do, and there's nothing stopping us from putting up a flyer at all the parks that encourage people to sign up. But again, I don't have anything to do with like communication for the township, that's the supervisors, so best I can do is ask and see what they say. That's not my role here is in communications, right? So.
Why don't we just do this for EAC, forget the township, and let's develop our own email list to each to, we can reach out to the 8,000 members in the township and see who signs up. And then we have an email list that we can then use to communicate environmental strategies and environmental updates.
I like the idea. It almost feels like a duplicated effort, a little bit of a redundancy, just in the sense of, again, there's a lot of effort that goes into building an email list. We already have, I wouldn't say extremely low numbers. I mean, 800 people on a list is a significant number of people. It's just only 10% of the township, if you look at it that way. But again, we're in a age and economy where attention is the currency, and it's very hard to get people involved. Ultimately, there's a balance between the constituents that want to be involved and want to be informed, reaching out, and then there's a responsibility of us as a council of getting the information out as well. It's hard to find that balance, but in my opinion, it feels a little redundant if we created a whole separate newsletter, or excuse me, a whole separate email list. Maybe it's worth talking to Chairman Pride about, considering he has just been reelected. He more or less talked about creating or revamping the environmental committee, the environmental council. So maybe that's an interest of his that he'd be willing to work with us. He also is the webmaster. He's got, and again, I commend him in the sense that the website looks good. I mean, I think, again, Jacob, I've never met you. We haven't officially met and discussed it, but ultimately, I think he's done a good job with the website. I just think getting to the point of a separate email list sounds time consuming and redundant. Although I like the idea, it just might take a little bit
it doesn't have to be separate. All I'm suggesting is that if the supervisors in the township is going to hold us back, we should be independently reaching out. And it doesn't take a lot. I mean, to have a flyer and a QR code and post it around the township is relatively easy. For the cost of about $2,000, we can physically mail an invite to every resident in the township. And then we know we have reached every resident household, and ask them if they want communication from the EAC or from the township, however that goes. And that is a very small cost, and I don't think that's ever been done before.
No, I agree, Mitch, but I just so we can be clear, we're saying that what we would like to do is create a QR code that brings members of the township, or residents of the township, directly to our newsletter. Because right now, that's all we have is our,
But we can send that newsletter out by email, as well as, it depends how you're going to distribute it, right?
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying. That's probably a separate discussion, because what we have to, first we have to create content. Then we have to decide how we're going to share it. And then we have to start sending people to that content. So I agree with you. Yeah, and that's what we're doing right now. We're starting our newsletter. We're going to create additional newsletters looking for, January's upcoming newsletter will have this in it. We can say February's newsletter is going to be focused on spring planting and gardening. And then, we're creating content that will then go to one place, and there'll be more for people to see. But as of right now,
okay. But here's Eric. Here's the thing: if you create content and you don't send it to people to see, nobody, I would say less than a fraction of a percent of people are sitting around saying, you know what? I think I'm going to go on a website and look at what the EAC is doing in Smithfield Township. It's not going to happen. I mean, be practical about it. Now, if they get something in their email, just like I get something, I've said this before, from Middle Smithfield, I get a physical mailer. But I also get things in email when I get the Smithfield Township update on a monthly basis. That's something that I look at. It's very different than just sticking something on a website and saying, oh, it's available for everybody to look at. We need
No,
to be
I agree.
proactive in communicating.
I agree with you completely. I was more just talking about having something for them to look at. Once they get there. So we're gonna work on creating content and at the same time, we're gonna work on, bringing people to the content that we've created. And that's what, and I'm with you, Mitch. But we started a subcommittee. We're gonna start working on newsletters. We're gonna start pulling together pertinent information.
And maybe as part of that subcommittee, we can discuss what Mitch is explaining. I agree with both of you. That Mitch is saying, let's get more people signing up for this newsletter, which is really, really important. That's an important part of the equation. The other part of the equation is you have to create a good newsletter. And so we should discuss that at the committee meeting. And before the committee meeting, I should sit down with the township, see who they want me to talk to, who's in charge of communication. So I can try to bring to that subcommittee some guidance on how they'd like to proceed. That way I can answer your question in a more authoritative way. Does that sound reasonable?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Okay.
But it sounds reasonable to me. So I just don't want to drop this whole subject of proactively communicating to our 8,000 residents. I don't think the township does a good job of that. I don't think they're really interested in that. And for instance, we post notices of public meetings and nobody ever sees them. If you at least can email them, and paper mail doesn't work so good anymore, but at least if you can email them, you're going to reach out to people and they're going to have a chance to see what's going on.
Can I make a quick addition to that? Mitch, I really agree with you on the fact that we can do a better job, or we as a group can collectively make an effort to reaching out to the constituents. So I love where you're going with that. Is it worth even asking the supervisors to use the current mailing list that we have to then send our own newsletter if that's something that came to fruition? Ultimately, again, it's a work in progress. Yeah.
Yes.
We have to make the
Absolutely.
content, but we could also distribute it via the township email list. We already have 800 people signed up. The idea of making a separate sign up, maybe not as much, maybe not worth our time, but using the list that's already there, and instead of even adding, the environmental section of the newsletter, like you're saying, Mitch, we could ultimately send out an entirely separate email that is the EAC's newsletter, but using the current township email list. That would kind of combine the two ideas and use our time and resources wisely. But I commend you for the idea that, it's up to us to get the information out.
Well, my preference would be to have one email list for the township that covered at least 50% of our residents, because we had reached out to them and they had said, we want to hear from you. That would be my preference. But I don't want the EAC to sit back and say, well, the township doesn't want to do this, or the supervisors don't want to do this. I think we as a group can do that independently if we have to. But the first priority, the first preference would be exactly what you said, Michael.
Okay. That's worth talking about when we talk communication strategies in the newsletter.
Can I throw something in here? I think you actually should look at the age of the people we do have in the township. When you're looking at 18 to 25, they're not gonna read it. Me personally, I only look at what I want. The rest I automatically delete. And it's gonna be by age group that's gonna look at it and wanna read it honestly. But again, if we reach out and we touch at least one person or gain a few new people. I just think a lot of people are very cautious about their emails.
one way or another, if we start it now.
Yeah, I'm all for starting it, but I mean, there's gonna be a lot of people that don't want to. And I believe that goes back to where Robert said, you know, they got like 800 email addresses. And it's very difficult to get people to give up their email address. Because most people, they either have a work email or they just have an email for shopping. And I don't wanna say that this whole thing is a bad idea with email. I think it's just gonna be difficult to reach more people than what we already have. Especially with the younger group nowadays.
To summarize it, I think it goes back to the shared responsibility, right? There's a shared responsibility between the constituents who want to be informed. There's also a shared responsibility amongst the council to want to inform the constituents. So we're meeting in the middle, you know, we
Yeah.
might not ever get above 800 or 1,000 people on a newsletter, but ultimately, the more effort we put into it, you ask people to spread the word amongst their neighbors, and there's a shared responsibility, you know, it's not just on the council.
I mean, I really
to
hope
have
it takes
to-
off,
Yeah,
but
Yeah.
I mean, you know. A lot of people nowadays just wanna mind their own business.
yeah, yeah,
Either way, we'll be putting out
Yeah,
great content.
Right,
And
right.
we'll be trying
Yeah.
to make the world a better place.
right, we put it out regardless, yeah.
Well, just,
Um,
just also on this communication issue, I think Robert's at the meeting. I think I saw him there. Robert, you had, suggested that we could partner, with Middle Smithfield with their, actual flyer that they send out, the bulletin that they send out. What's happening with that?
They offered to share their printed 4 times a year newsletter with us where if you opened it one way in the front, it would be Middle Smithfield. You turned it over and opened the other way, it would be Smithfield, and it'd be 2 different newsletters. I brought that up to the supervisors. They weren't interested.
You say they were not interested.
No,
So you make it in the
But you see, that's part of the problem that we have in the township. We're not interested in communicating to the 8,000 people that live here, and that's a shame.
Well, we'll do our best with what we have, and then we'll, you know.
I think in this case, it's a question of some kind of rivalry and also not wanting to be confused with Middle Smithfield. Beyond that, I don't know.
Leave the bucket, we put a cooler, so now we got the whole bucket filled up in.
Being good. Something on there. All right. Old business D. Calling board supervisors, public code of content. Where did we let off? I don't even remember.
If you look at your packet, I showed you,
there was a new one that printed out.
it's very clear what has changed, it's red. So that's where you left off. You know, we had discussed me showing the edits and then you guys can make a decision on how you'd like to proceed or not proceed. It's up to you guys, what you want to do.
3 minutes, yeah. Public code of content.
Yeah, 3 minutes and 5 and.
Yeah.
You know,
So while everyone's reviewing it, I'll just voice my opinion on it. Ultimately, I agree with the edits. It goes back to not restricting free speech. It goes back to having the conversation with the community, but it also goes back to the idea that, again, we're volunteers. So we're all gonna respect each other's time. 3 to 5 minutes, more or less, asks the public to put their thoughts together, right? If you can't get your main points across in 3 to 5 minutes, ultimately you need to go back and do your homework. So if I were a paid, council member, I would say I'll sit here till the cows come home and listen to commentary because that's what I'm paid to do. That's just my opinion. But ultimately, as a volunteer, I think this hits the nail on the head. And then ultimately, the idea that we're removing the disorderly conduct. I don't wanna get into the territory of policing speech or policing, behavior, you know, again, the threatening behavior is inappropriate. The mocking behavior is inappropriate. But at the end of the day, everyone has an ability to voice their concerns, which we should acknowledge. And I think putting the criminal statutes in there was not worthwhile. And putting the time limits are a fair way of having the community conversation. And then the last thing is, I don't know if we have the language in there or not, but basically saying that we more or less talked about last time, we ultimately always have the right as a council to extend that time.
Yeah.
Right? If there's a subject that we all need to go back and forth for, if it takes half an hour, if it takes 45 minutes, if it takes 20 minutes, we reserve the right to give people that back and forth. So that's just my 2 cents on it. I think it was well done. Again, I commend Alex for putting this together because there's a lot of work behind the scenes, obviously, that Alex has to do for us to be prepared for these meetings. So I think it was well done. I think it reflected what we talked about as a council.
Oh, I have
I'm
a
not,
question.
Michael, I'm not sure what you're looking at, and I would question if Alex
Resolution
sent
62?
that out. Did he send that out prior to the meeting, or is that just part of what you got when you got there?
Yes, it was
Yesterday,
sent
or the
out
day
yesterday
before.
morning to everybody.
My question.
Yeah.
Where did the red come from? Did it come from this council
Yes.
or did it come from the?
So all I did is I took the Word document, Ken, and I took what you guys talked about at the last meeting, just put it in there, right? This is literally all the things that you had come to a consent, there was some disagreement, so I took it all and tried to basically just reflect what the council wanted. That's really all I did here. I took the supervisor's language, supervisors wrote this. And then I took your edits and incorporated them overlaid it on top of the supervisors, and that's what you have now. It's a pretty straightforward process. So, does that answer your question?
I think so.
Yep.
Yeah, and as an educational, committee council, I feel like this is perfect for us and.
I would only comment that I haven't seen what you're discussing, so.
If you have the email from yesterday, if you could search it, you could look at it right now.
He hasn't, but we
I
did
printed
discuss
out
it.
everything that was sent out for the meeting, so.
Oh, there were 3 documents, Mitch, and this was one of those 3 documents. There was the agenda, there was the minutes, and then there was this document. So I would.
I'm
double
email
check that.
illiterate and I printed it.
Well,
And it does
maybe I missed one of them, so I'll take a look. Thank you.
Okay. So we'll make a motion to the ordinance.
Up to you guys.
I'm sorry to interrupt. I just want to say that nobody makes you guys volunteer. And again, giving the people a time limit really is unnecessary. I just wanted to say that.
I'm not sure who that was. Can you state your name?
My name's Justin Stengel. Again, I just
Nice.
heard you comment about volunteering and, it's important
No,
to.
No, I appreciate your comment. Again,
Katie, I agree.
The time limit is not enforced. It's basically a guideline so that people can try and give us their comments within 5 minutes, and then we can take the time to discuss it for as long as we feel necessary after that.
I get that, and I appreciate you. I was just going on that one comment when the one gentleman there was speaking.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah, just to clarify, again, I actually really, I'm a First Amendment absolutist. I think we absolutely have to share each other's ideas, and we have to do that, regardless of whether it's uncomfortable or not. The reason I support the time limit is just the idea that, again, it makes everybody do their homework and really put their thoughts together, because I could get up here and talk to you guys for 3 hours about how I feel about every issue under the sun, and you'd have to sit there and listen to me, versus the idea that, hey, if you put together your thoughts in a couple of minutes, and then we can go back and forth as a council. The time limit is more or less, again, like a guidance to say, try and put your thoughts together, come prepared, but we could always grant more time to discuss any issues that matter. So it's really to prevent the idea that, hey, if somebody wanted to speak and do a filibuster, we could be here for into my next work day. And that's obviously not something I can do or really anybody can do. So it's not to restrict speech, it's just to say, please come prepared, and then we can extend the time limit ad nauseam. We could extend it ad infinitum. We could talk for 3 hours about an issue that matters. It's just come prepared with that initial comment, and then we'll go from there. So I hope
I
that
understand
clarifies
all
me.
that and respect that. And if that was the case, all these meetings would be wrapped up within an hour. You know, none of them would be dragged out. So it just, again, some people take longer to speak. Some people take longer to get things out. So I just didn't like the way you said some of it. But again, I respect all you guys and thank you.
Thanks, yeah, and I also, as far as an environmental advisory council that is focusing on educational, outreach and whatnot, this allows us to make sure that the comments brought forth are pertinent to the council, so. All in favor of,
So I think with the motion that you're seeking is, it's a little confusing because the supervisors already adopted this for the township, but you're as a council sort of editing it and then establishing this as sort of your own guidelines, and then so you might just adopt, the changes as written and send them to the supervisors and their solicitor for review or something like that. I mean, Robert, what do you think?
I think the supervisors are leaving the council to make their own rules. I don't think we want to approve it. We're just giving you guidelines. You do what you want.
And that's more or less what this is guidelines, right? So I think that's fair.
Yeah.
So you're saying you want the council to establish these guidelines sort of as written. And then kind of proceed, that's so proceed accordingly.
They can establish any guidelines they want.
That's helpful.
We're just giving them some ideas here.
I see.
From what we do, they don't have to do that.
Okay, so listen to Robert, he's the boss.
sure, okay, well, so I'll make a motion,
Wait, hold on, sorry.
I'm sorry.
So Robert, you're saying they don't need to adopt the resolution if they don't want to? Just want to get that clarification.
I guess so.
I didn't hear that.
No, as she's saying, we don't have to adopt anything if we don't want to, it's up to us, and what we've done, we've spent some time on this, so. And I think it's a good document to, file away and have, for the council. Which is why,
Do you want, Eric, and I don't mean to interrupt you, I hate to do that, but do you want me to, it says supervisors in here, do you want me to, as part of your motion, just say, edit it to say environmental advisory?
Yeah,
So
that's what I was gonna
like I said, I did very minimal, I touched this very minimally because I wanted to empower the council, but if you wanna make that as part of this, then we can.
make our own.
Yeah, that was
So
brilliant.
take.
I actually think we should go to EAC because
Yeah,
if someone looks it up,
Yeah.
it's gonna state two different resolutions
Absolutely.
with the same number by the supervisors in EAC.
yeah,
So we addressed it as the EAC resolution. That,
I mean, I think the motion
This
would
number
be,
applies to the supervisors, but it's only a guideline. You can do whatever you want. In fact, you could adopt something right now if you want, and then change it by amendment if it doesn't work.
Right.
yeah,
Try it out.
In summary, it's a guideline. It's a guideline. If there's a time to have public comment, we reserve the right to extend it, to cut it off, or in this case, again, to set a maximum time limit if we had to, and then we'd schedule another additional meeting. So it's guidelines. It's guidelines for public comment more or less, but it's not,
Would the resolution number change then?
I don't know.
well, I don't
That's
think
something that you guys
statute,
need to look into.
it's a good question, but statutorily, I don't think the EAC can actually pass a resolution. That's something that only the board of supervisors should do. So this is really delete that resolution and just
could be an
Replace it.
EAC guideline.
EAC, guidelines, yeah, like EAC guidelines.
Yeah, so that's fair.
we would be making a motion to take the current, resolution number 602.
The language.
And use the language to make it pertinent to the EAC, and then file this as our, EAC guidelines moving forward. And
Sounds good.
Which can always be updated. Yes.
so,
The only thing I.
Just a comment from my side.
yeah,
A comment from my side. I couldn't understand if there's actually a motion on the table, but from my point of view, I agree that and think that we should adopt guidelines, and I'm very comfortable. I found out my printer ran out of paper, so I actually have what you sent, Alex, sorry. But I'm definitely in favor of that. What I'm not in favor of is spending township money to have law enforcement at our meetings or at the supervisor meetings. And I saw something that said we're spending $60,000 a year to, and I'm not sure that that's correct, but if we're spending $60,000 a year as a township to have law enforcement at our meetings, I think we're out of our minds.
It is crazy, and I heard they're going to be hiring a private security company as well.
But I,
Just a point of order, Eric,
yeah,
you know, just.
I was gonna say-
We're talking about two separate
I know,
actions here.
that's what I was about to
And,
say.
and Eric did a very fine job at putting a motion together just a
So-
little while ago, and I wrote it down.
Yeah.
So does anyone want to second what he had said? Do you want to try to repeat it? You basically
Yeah,
said.
we're making a motion to take resolution number 602 from the township board, and adopt it as a guideline for the EAC. Do we want to?
Yeah,
Can I make one comment and then do that as well?
Sure.
Mitch, I hear what you're saying. I agree with you in the sense that, more or less what you're describing is potentially the money that is being spent on security, to go back to your previous point, is money that we could be spending on community outreach and information dissemination. So that's obviously that's above our pay grade here with, as volunteers. That's a supervisor decision, that's a budget decision. But I get what you're saying. If your main point is, I would like to get the information to the community, well, we're spending money on security that you could argue is then taking away from disseminating the information. But ultimately, what Eric is, and everyone is saying, this is a guideline. We can always change it, and I agree with adopting it as a guideline for the general sake of conducting order
I
for the
agree.
meetings. All right.
The only thing I'd caution you on this is, Mike was talking about extending conversation if it was something that required that. Well, then you're editing what's being said by whether you want to pursue it or not. I don't think that's right. I think you have to say everybody gets, whether it's 5 minutes, 3 minutes, whatever, and that's it. Otherwise, you're saying, oh, if we like you, we'll let you talk longer.
No, I understand. I feel like if you have 5 minutes to present your topic, okay? That is where I feel like then the board has an option to discuss it further, if we have the ability to.
Right.
Only,
Yeah, okay.
it's like you said, Eric, you can always update it in the future. You
Yeah.
know, and right now,
We can find some.
and that was part of what you said too, and I wrote that down. So basically replace 602, got this whole thing of our guidelines, and replace EAC instead of supervisors, and note that this can always be updated. Is there anything else you want to add to that?
On Robert's point, would it be, that's a fair point. Would it be fair to just propose the idea that there should be some type of, vote or a way of determining who gets more time, or if an issue should get more time, or is it just gonna be kind of
I
a
think that
discussion?
I think it's fair to give the people 5 minutes to present their topic.
Yeah,
for
let them
discussion.
present themselves, and I mean,
Correct. I meant for extending the time.
if somebody.
Yeah.
Say we're doing, we're talking about a fall planting or something. And somebody talks about how they did it, or what they did, and had great success with it. Or they did the same thing we did, but they had poor success. And the next person says, hey, I kind of tweaked it a little bit, and if you have the time, I can tell you what I did. And
Right.
maybe it takes 15, 20 minutes
Right.
to explain it for everyone to understand.
So is there a threshold that we would decide on giving people more time, or just kind of up to the chair to say, hey, this topic is worth more time, we're gonna continue to discuss it?
Yeah, if they need it, they can ask.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's anything in here, Mr. Chairman, that delineates that. So one option is you can pass this for now and then put it back on a future agenda to add a sentence in there that delineates it.
You can just say that for, an individual requiring more than 5 minutes, after the 5 minutes is up, they can request, an additional 3 to 5 minutes.
And then per vote or something like that, it would be granted.
Yeah. This is not for how long we sit and deliberate and discuss something. This is for how long it takes somebody to explain what their actual,
That's a good point.
the topic of their
On a
discussion
topic,
would like to be.
If it's on the agenda,
Correct.
that makes perfect sense. That's reasonable. I mean, is that agreeable to you, Robert, or is that agreeable to you? To add that language in there as part of the motion?
It's fine with me, but it's the committee's decision what they wanna do.
Okay.
Well, Robert, don't forget that you're part of this council. So
everyone's gotta agree.
Well, Eric, what about public comments?
There's no motion on the floor yet, with all due respect, Vicky.
No, like for that resolution, the public comment portion, 5 minutes, but what if you engage a conversation back and forth with one of the members here?
Surely, then I think that's what we were trying to say.
I think that's what we're all trying to get at.
Just agenda matters. So what if it's public comment, has nothing to do with the agenda?
Oh, I see what you're saying. At the end of the meeting is.
The end of the meeting.
Public comment, yeah.
I think that at the end of the meeting as well, comments, should be related to official township business, things, you see the guidelines here, and the 5 minutes, I would imagine, is going to pertain to most comments and subjects that are brought up. And again, we're not trying to turn this into something larger than it is, or needs to be. We're just trying to give ourselves a little bit of protection so that we don't have someone coming up here talking about, spoiled milk in Alaska or something. What's that?
A motocross track.
This is all nonsense. This is all nonsense because of the board of supervisors meetings that got out of hand a little bit, and now again, just drop it and move on. Like, this is no protection. Just let the people talk. You guys represent the community. You represent the people. As long as they're on topic, let them talk. That's it.
Agreed. And that's what we're doing.
Fun fact is you can put a time limit on it, 3 minutes, 5 minutes. It's kind of a challenge. Normally I like to try and go over and keep going over and keep talking because there's actually no legal recourse on the time limit. They're not gonna stop me and I'll keep talking. So just for the public's knowledge that it doesn't matter what the time limit is, you can just keep talking.
Agreed.
Yeah, so
And look how much time we waste. Look how much time we waste talking about it. It's ridiculous.
Well, the whole point of this, and again, I'm for the free speech. I'm still trying to learn the history of the back nine and what's going on with the township and the legal, the process that's happened. The whole point, though, to not get distracted, the whole point is to bring your argument, make it concise enough that we can then continue the discussion. It's not to limit anybody. I think that's where we're getting, I think that's the disconnect. Yeah, the disconnect is that it's being perceived as though it should be a limit on your speech. That's not the case. The case is come prepared so then we can have an actual discussion. Otherwise, you can just get up and talk about spoiled milk and my farm and aliens and whatever else you want. The point is to have this focused so there can be efficiency, not to
No
limit
matter how you
speech.
word it, though, you're putting restrictions in it, and the way you're speaking doesn't come off. It doesn't sound well. So you just be careful with your wording. And again, I think just drop it, and move on. We don't need a time limit. Period. Wasting time talking about it.
We have a motion on the table.
I don't think there is a motion on the table yet.
No.
That was what I was trying to, when Vicky said public comment, so you're working on formulating a motion, and I'm trying to help guide you through this. At some point, we're gonna have to actually have a motion on the floor.
Yeah, well, I stated my motion was to adopt the resolution number 602 as the EAC's formal guidelines moving forward.
Which can always be
I would
updated.
second that if that's the motion.
Replace EAC, I'm just making sure I clarify it, because I'm the recording secretary, I gotta get it all in there.
Yeah.
Replace supervisor with EAC, and then also add a sentence that said an individual can request a vote to extend the comment on a on-topic discussion.
Absolutely.
I second that.
Well, I didn't make the motion, somebody. Who wants to make the motion to that effect?
So I'll call the question.
You can't call a question if there's no motion.
Oh, I thought there
Who
was a
wants-
motion.
I'll make a motion.
Okay, thank you. There's a motion, is there a second?
Second.
Okay, second Eric, first was
Todd.
Todd. Okay, then there's discussion of the motion, then there's public comment of the
Yes,
motion.
yes. Discussion. Public comment. Anybody? We've had a lot of it. Already. No, is it time for public comment?
And then you can call the question.
Yeah.
Oh, can we go past the council member comment, or are we gonna get?
We have to vote on the motion now.
So the motion is to adopt this as the guidelines, correct?
Correct.
Then
Okay,
the discussion of the motion was sort of discussion among council on the motion on the floor, and then the public comment is comment on the motion on the floor, and then someone can call the question, and then you vote on it.
Okay. Well, here we are.
Let's vote.
We're gonna make a motion to
Or what?
No, I'm saying there was no, does anybody have any comments? I feel like we've all had
I
all
thought we
the
had that.
back and forth, yeah.
I'm actually good with it. I mean, cause I'm willing to give 10-15 minutes if it's
Sure.
absolutely,
True.
absolutely.
environmental or educational or something on that line. I mean, honestly, I don't want to talk about why your milk's spoiled, but I would, you know, if you want to talk about planning or
It's also a
or things
living,
like that, or
it's a living
or an
document,
issue in the township
yeah.
that you think is an environmental issue, then I'm willing to extend behind that.
Absolutely, absolutely. Agreed.
No public comment.
Okay, the person have 3 like bullet points to let you guys know what.
Sure, yeah, I mean, you can formulate-
One topic.
No, you
for
can
5 minutes.
you can formulate, like I said, if you go over and you have other bullet points that you didn't get to, you can just ask, yeah.
The main idea is come prepared, don't ramble, and then let's have discussion, right? In one sentence, come prepared, don't ramble, and then let's have meaningful discussion. On the comment about how, oh, we're wasting our time with this, the whole reason we have to talk about this is because I have moved from Philadelphia back to the township within the last year and a half. I'm still learning about what's going on with the back nine, and I want people to have a community and for kids to have an outdoor activity. But
Right.
we are taking time away from things like clean water and the map, things that we didn't even really get to fully elaborate on.
Yeah,
Because
this
we're
has
talking
nothing
about.
to do with back nine. This is just like, this has nothing to do with back nine. Freedom of speech, talking, the community, the public, the people. That's it. And you're missing the point, obviously.
No, I think we're talking past each other, so I would love to talk to you after the council meeting. What we're not understanding is that, so we want to make sure that things are relevant to what we're talking about. And we want to give everyone the time, but the back nine situation has clearly taken up all of the air in the room at every supervisor meeting, at every meeting we talk about. There should be a way we can talk about that productively, and ultimately everyone should be working towards getting to yes.
Yeah.
We should all be working towards getting to yes on that issue, but it's taking time away from, we kind of breezed past the map. We breezed past the wastewater treatment plant, so we can talk about being adults and respecting each other with a public comment. So you're right, it is a waste of time.
Agreed.
But it's happening because of the behavior of the last year of the council meetings. So I'm passionate about this issue because everybody should have their voice heard. I want to be on the side of community and outdoor activities. But ultimately, again, when we're breezing past things that are clearly important to everybody, like clean drinking water, to then put all of our time into one singular issue, that's where this behavioral conduct needs to be brought up. Because now we're not giving fair service to the rest of the township. Every single person, whether they are here or not, would care about their drinking water. But instead, we have to spend time going back and forth about things that could be discussed in a succinct, efficient way, getting to yes. So anyway, we can talk about that off, off the council. I'm available via phone and email at any time. But I like the guidelines. I think that's the point of the guidelines, and I agree with the guidelines.
And then maybe the guideline should be on your end of the table too, then. Just remember that, because you can go on and on and on, repeat yourself, but you want to put a guideline against the people. So it just doesn't make sense. You're missing my point, but I can't make you change your mind here.
Okay.
Thanks for your comment.
And speaking of water, we should be concerned about the data center that's going to be going up, right? We should be talking about that, not this.
We should be.
Eric, at this point, you should call the vote.
Yeah, we're gonna call the
If
vote.
you want.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank you.
Roger, did you vote on that? Mitch voted aye. Everyone voted aye. Robert, did you cast a vote on that? Did you cast a vote on that?
No, I do.
You're gonna
I'm a liaison, I'm not gonna cast my vote.
okay. Okay, well, everyone, okay, well, that's fine, you got the quorum vote and it passed, so we'll go ahead and, I'll get this document and I'll email out to everyone with final edits.
Great, thank you.
Thank you for all the deliberation.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
So, we're at number 8, council member comment. Anybody have any comment?
Yeah, on my side, I would like to hear Alex's comments on the environmental meeting that he attended.
Yeah, I'd be happy to, Mitch. I actually printed out a summary of some of my notes. From the seminar that was this past Saturday. And it's a page long. I didn't send it out yet via email, but I can send it out as follow-up. And basically, it has a lot of really, really good recommendations. So first of all, what did I attend? I attended the EAC Network Fall Gathering. It was held in a place called Malvern, PA, down in the suburbs of Philadelphia, and it was part of We Conserve PA, which is an organization which, among many other things, helps give environmental advisory councils guidance and professional technical assistance on how to do a really good job at protecting the environment within their township, right? And so it's really, really helpful. It was a full day conference, and I basically, there's like, I don't know, 10 bullet points. The first one, which I thought was an excellent suggestion, is the council members can become master watershed stewards. And what that's through the Penn State extension. And if you enroll, it's free, maybe there's a fee. I actually don't know off the top of my head, but it's not a very large one. And then if you become a master watershed steward, first you learn a lot about water quality. Highly recommended that council members consider it. And then if you become a watershed steward, then by just being a volunteer member, you get hours. And then if you attend a hike or do a litter pickup, you get all your volunteer hours. So it's a really good opportunity. You can also do that with like the master gardeners. Council members can do that as well. And just by being a volunteer, you automatically get those hours. So like today, it's an hour and a half. That would go towards that. And then any other time you spend here would go towards. So it's a really good opportunity, if nothing else, just to learn a lot of technical information that you may not otherwise absorb from some of these meetings. The EAC network strongly encouraged electronic recruitment, like the Facebook posts for attracting new members, things like that, flyers, things of that nature. They did emphasize how we don't live on this planet in isolation. There's pollinators, birds, foods, and caterpillars and things like that. And that sort of was part of this discussion on this really interesting thing I learned about called PA Bird Town certification. So township can actually get some, I have to research it because this was all new to me. I haven't had time to like delve into it. I was just compiling my notes. But the Smithfield Township, if the supervisors want, can become a bird town. And that offers recommendations, keyword recommendations to people that live here on how to, like, don't put pesticides, don't, things like that. I have to get details. Something that you could recommend to the supervisors. There was some interesting things like try to refer to trees and landscaping as habitat rather than externalities. You'll see that in your ordinance, and there's better ways to frame things. MS4, this group can actually contribute to the supervisor's requirements on public involvement and participation and educational requirements, like even just the litter cleanup can help contribute to the townships meeting those technical requirements. So it's mutually beneficial. Subcommittees, very strongly recommended. You're already way ahead on that. Presenters did, and I put this in here because I thought it was very interesting, that you don't always have to be lockstep with the supervisors on anything. It's okay to have debate. It's okay to have a healthy debate among differing viewpoints. And that's why, we've had some of that here today, and that's not bad. That doesn't mean you're doing anything wrong. And I think healthy debate is part of good government. For subcommittees, you can bring in subject matter experts. So let's say you have a subcommittee on, the dirty fill ordinance. You can bring someone from the conservation district or an expert on dirty fill to help that subcommittee. That doesn't have to necessarily be a member of the EAC or even a member of the community. You can bring in technical experts to help the township do better. Let's see, budget requests was brought up. That's a great thing for the council to approach the board about and see, can you budget for someone from this group to do a presentation with me or something like that next year on what you've done. One of the things I personally took away from the conference is how phenomenal this EAC is compared to a lot of other EACs. One of the things I found myself doing was giving advice to other EACs on like meeting frequency, topics of consideration, best practices. So we are, as nearly as I can tell, a leader in the state in terms of how well we are doing. And I think that in the future, we might want to consider submitting a proposal to do a presentation. It'd be great to have a member or two and myself do a presentation at their things.
Sure.
So that was a feeling I got, and I'm not saying we're the best, I'm not saying we're in the top 10, but I did get the sense that we're doing really, really well. And it's good to, and if you can share your success with other townships, it'll help the Commonwealth as a whole. You know what I mean? Because we're not all, because there's, 1,500 municipalities and a lot of sensitive environments that you might not have direct control over, but by spreading the technical information and positive success stories, you can encourage other townships to do similar things. Comprehensive plan was suggested as a very, very helpful guide for EACs. And then the last thing I wanted to end with on a positive note is I gave you all this guides that We Can Serve PA. Everyone has a copy of this. There is an incredible amount of resources that this organization, We Can Serve PA, has put out there. And so there's an almost unlimited number of future topics for discussion just on this document alone. So please take this home with you. Put a couple on that table if people from the public want it, but there's a lot of really good information that you can utilize to help work with the supervisors to, update legislation, do programs. Just look at how much resource there is in here. So, yeah, and then you can also find all these on the website and bring them and ask for them to be agenda items if you find something particularly interesting. Do you have any questions for me?
Yeah, I have one. What does MS4 stand for? Yeah, that's
Multiple stormwater systems.
multiple stormwater something?
Yeah, yeah.
Not a gang.
That's
It's worth looking into. It's on the township website. I had to do a little bit of background knowledge research as well. I'm still not fully informed, but yeah, it's
multiple separate stormwater sewage or something like that. Sorry, I should know the answer to that question off the top of my head, and I will get that back to you. But you'll recall, we talked about this last year in detail with regards to the impairment of Sambo Creek. And we actually had, remember, David Hooker from the Conservation District actually came here and gave you an hour-long presentation on MS4. And part of the MS4 program, it's a permitting program, and the EAC kind of contributes to that in a big way.
Bitch. Did you get that?
I got it.
All right. Well, thanks for that, Alex. I'm excited. I think that most of today we've been talking about ways to engage and public, ways to engage with the public, and the future of the EAC seems pretty bright to me. We've come a long way, and finally feel like with the newsletter and a group of engaged people, and obviously our township, thanks to everybody for joining us. But this type of stuff for me is that's what keeps me going. I've done all the workshops at the farm for the last 6 years. And that was only because if I didn't know something myself, I would then find somebody who did and then make a workshop around it, because I figured if I was interested in it, would be too.
Yeah.
So whether it's plant medicine or bees or identifying trees and how to use them as medicine, there's so many exciting things that we've done at the farm that was really, it is what kept me going there. And now with the EAC, I'm excited to start, planning and opening this up to a larger audience. So
yeah,
that's great.
Yeah, I'd love to have members in this group give a presentation at a future conference. I feel like I was watching presentations there from folks just like you from all over the state. And, there's so much collaboration that can be had, and there's so much energy, and there's a lot of, positive impacts we can all have if we just work together and
no matter what, people say it all the time, but I watch the news all day, just like everybody else, and it can get, pretty stressful. And When you start focusing on your community next door as opposed to stressing about things that are happening, you know, on the other side of the country and other side of the globe. This is the stuff right here that, you know, it'll keep you going, make you feel good and give you a little bit of, you know, I don't know, just make you feel like you're doing the right thing, give you a little bit of help. So I appreciate all your time. We are gonna go into public comment right now unless anybody else has anything.
One more thing, I know I've been talking a lot, but there's just a lot going on. So I reached out to Mike Stetler from the Waste Authority here in the county, and there's an opportunity for a tour of the Penn Argyle new, what's the acronym they use, Robert? The MRF. The new MRF. So it's open, and they have a unique opportunity for up to 8 people to do a tour of the state-of-the-art facility, and the council did it last year, but we were just trying to figure out what your availability is on a weekday. Unfortunately, it is a working hours, basically it has to be when they're open, like 9 to 5, Monday through Friday. Sometime over the next couple of months. We don't need a decision now if you want to put on one of your future agendas, but I mean, Robert, I mean, have you seen it yet?
We'll do
Have you
it.
seen the MRF?
I haven't seen it yet.
Would you like to join
State of
us?
the art, it's all robotic, spectral analysis, it's supposed to be pretty amazing.
So it is,
It's a single stream sort of recycled materials, which is almost all automated. Very few people that work there.
so it sounds like, Robert is the expert on this, to be honest with you. I don't know anybody who knows more about this phenomenon than Robert does. So, does this sound like something the group would be interested in? You want to have it on a future agenda?
You got me intrigued.
Robert got me intrigued.
It's new technology that's talking about in conservation, right?
Yeah,
So it's worth looking into. I don't know anything about it. I've heard of the MRF, but I think it's worth learning about. Certainly.
We're going on a tour.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, I'll put it on a future agenda and you can deliver it.
And there's always members that don't have fixed schedules could always go and then report back. You know, we've kind of done a good job of divvying up who's attending what. So.
Okay, we'll put it on your December 3rd, make a decision and, you know, probably we'll figure it out.
January, February, we're gonna that after the
Yeah, I don't know how long you want to wait. We'll figure it out. Okay, yeah, I don't want to delay this anymore. We have.
No, it's okay. So we're gonna move into public comment. Okay, everybody? Yeah, all right, starting the timer, go.
Okay. Last EAC meeting, I asked about the EAC having a designated Facebook page,
Out of here, Robert.
and I never heard anything
That is.
about it. That's something that you guys could consider.
I think I mentioned that, didn't you?
See us in Bill Township.
Did mention
That, you did speak with Julia, right?
Well, no, if you recall, what happened is I asked, Robert and Julia discussed it, and it sounds like the township isn't, well, it isn't at this, at least, I don't remember exactly what they said, but it sounded like there has to be a legal investigation of whether or not that's okay, and that's.
Maybe Eric, since you're the chairperson, you should have a conversation with this township.
Sure.
directly,
Yeah,
Cause that's the only way you're gonna get the word out for the EAC.
no, I like the idea, so, it's a legal
And,
thing that they're gonna try and figure out, so I think,
So worth addressing that in
It's-
subcommittee, the newsletter subcommittee. or-
It's been talked about and they're gonna talk about it more. I honestly think there's no harm in the EAC having a Facebook page,
it's just a.
but it may be a conflict of interest. I don't know. I'm not an attorney, so.
Yeah,
Neither am I.
regarding the Facebook thing, we want it 100%. If we can have it, we're gonna use it. And we're gonna find that out very soon. So I can send an email too.
But it may be something we have to share with the township, and it has to be approved to go on the township Facebook page.
Yeah.
And that's number one. Number two. There's a proposed bill. Number 1077. I saw it today. It's called the Jetson Act. Flying airplanes. Might be something that you might be interested as an EAC person, members. So, that's in the talks. Second the third one is, today I read also, Finland had successfully started and finished the program, wireless electricity. I know in the previous meetings, you guys were talking about on the wire.
Underground wires,
Right.
yeah.
So this is something that the AC might look at this technology for the future.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Wireless electricity.
Yeah, Finland was successfully
Oh,
wireless
yeah,
electricity power
That's how
for
these
there.
Sounds like a Tesla project.
It's a testing.
Yeah, but that's the point, not to cut your comment off, but that's exactly the point. We have to have an ability to talk about all these things. I mean, flying aircraft, vehicles, that's potentially coming.
Yeah.
Wireless, electric communications, that's potentially coming. These are things we all have to be able to talk about.
Multiple aircraft.
Yeah, they already have
State
single
bills.
and double, drones that you could, they're a couple $100,000 for a
Yeah.
single seater.
Yeah.
They go like 20 minutes.
Yeah.
You know, if you got money to waste, this is something you're buying.
Something, just to your comment on the power lines as a whole, I don't know how many people lost power this week. But
Yeah, I did yesterday.
I lost it, I think 3 times, maybe 4, but one of them was my fault because I drilled through one of my wires in my wall. But
You didn't have it marked?
oh man, it was a bad day. But I as a member of the township, I was always interested in understanding why we keep hanging wires up, and you know, they're an eyesore. The township and everybody pays so much money and so much time just, hanging these things for the last, 100 years, whatever. But something to think about. Maybe there's some answers out there that we can look into, and so I can feel better about why we keep doing this.
Were you affected by the power outage yesterday?
Oh yeah, we all got it.
Yeah, over 12 hours.
It was bad. It's been bad, but
Yeah, to your comment,
Emerging technologies.
emerging technologies, and maybe we can make a note to look into, some things just so we can have a better conversation about it later on. I'm happy with that.
Cause I know, Joseph lost, some solar panels.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the tree that caused the damage took out some solar panels.
Oh, man, it's a bummer. Been bad, the wind's been bad.
That's it. What
Thank you very much.
Thank you for bringing those up, because again, yeah.
Anybody else?
Yeah. Good evening, Dan Middle Smithfield Township. I've seen you guys, discussing.
Sir, what was your last name?
DZIE, DZIC, Jeddies.
Okay, thank you.
A lot of ways to reach out to the community and get more people involved. And you're willing to spend time, money, and whatever else you gotta do, and in hopes that even if you help one person, but yet somehow you guys are willing to neglect hundreds of people in this community and not do anything to help us. Instead, you guys are worried about people that don't really care. And the people that are here, that are involved, that are most productive, probably the most highly skilled, all these people are gonna push out of this community. We're gonna go elsewhere. And then you're not gonna have anyone left to fix your electrical when it gets breaking. You're not gonna have, guys to run equipment. You're not gonna have, all these productive members of society. Thank you.
Thank you.
Zach Bartowski, 109 Clubhouse Court, East Stroudsburg, PA. Just want to give a, plug out to the 3 people that have applied to join up here. I will say Vicky has probably been to more of these than I have, which is pretty incredible. I've watched, not only have I been coming to every single meeting in the township for the last 2 years now, whether it's this, the zoning, hearing boards, planning commission, supervisors meeting, obviously, I'm there. And, we've been to all of them. And I will say the only crazy lady that's been to any more than me, it's her. So, if there's someone that knows something that's going on in this town, it's her. She knows what you guys did today. Everything. No, but I will say, we do have 3 good candidates. Vicky knows a lot. She's very invested in this. She's very invested in the town and the community and what's going on. So I would like you guys to, recognize her. We all have our strong suits. Elisa as well, she applied. You guys are talking about this communication thing and how to get more. You guys don't know, we get a lot of views. Like, I think a video of the EAC has 175,000 views. Like, so it's, we can get you out there, you just have to use the right person, like Elisa. Elisa's very good at communication, she's very good at social media, she's very good at that. The back nine, has 600,000 eyes on it again for like I think 4th month in a row. Thanks to the township. You guys really boosted our views. I mean, yours have gone up as well. But yeah, no, just you know, a good person to keep in mind. She's very organized as well, and she's also at 90% of them. I know I hand wrote my thing like a real dumbass. I'm not that much of a dumbass. I'm very good in how water flows and hydraulics. I did a lot of water stuff for Toll Brothers and operating equipment. I had a lot of hours logged towards being a certified arborist when I thought I wanted to work and be a normal person. And I can name pretty much any tree under the sun out in the woods. So I think, you know, as far as educational walks in the woods, and I like the woods, that's where I belong. Most of the time I look like that's where I came from. So, I mean, not that I don't look like it right now, but yeah. So we got 3 people that are here regularly, and I think we got 3 good candidates, no matter which one you choose, if you choose one or if you choose 3. As far as the time limits are only put on there because of Robert and the supervisors. Talking about social media, I've seen you just follow us, and you are trying to get up to speed on everything that's going on. It's a long, drawn out thing. And you said it, you can't figure out why we're at every meeting. You can't figure out why I don't want to be here. I have a lot better things to do. I flew home from Puerto Rico to be here, like, for all this stuff. And I don't miss them. Very rarely do I miss them. And you know, I don't want to be here. The reason we're here is you say, like, let's sit down, let's talk. At the last supervisors meeting right before the election, you know, finally we have to raise all this stink for anyone to want to talk to us. They tell us they want to talk. Being the supervisor, Mike Lawbear gets up front, tells us he wants to talk. He'll sit up there and tell us all this and make this grand gesture like he's willing to work with us. 3 weeks goes by of nothing. Our lawyers reached out, I've reached out, everyone's reached out. And it's crickets again. And then finally they have another meeting about the meeting that they had before the meeting to tell me that they want to settle. So a month has gone by. They then have a meeting before the meeting, and then they say, okay, well, our council will tell your council by tomorrow what our settlement offer is. They couldn't talk about it, couldn't tell me about it, couldn't do anything about it. And this explains why we're so angry and why we're in every single thing under the sun. Because like you said, there's really important things to go on there, which I'll get into at the end, that are getting brushed under the carpet because of this, us. We're the most important thing in this township, no matter which way you look at it. I haven't seen a bigger group of people for anything that's happened in this township on any other thing. I've been coming for a while. I'm in the rambling part there. I lost where I was going. Where was I? But
We're talking about settlement.
yeah. So the settlement, then they come back and their settlement to us is their offer, no settlement. Why do you think we're mad? They told us last week, no settlement, and they don't want to do anything. And we come to all these, and we are here at every single one.
I'm sorry, I hate to say it and I hate to boast about us, but we're the most important thing in this township. The most important thing in this township on all levels, all levels. So I know you guys want to help us. I feel the support. I know you've reached out. I've known you reached out and you've reached out and you're trying to understand us. But it's not an us problem. It's a supervisor's problem. It's Jacob and Robert. Michael wants to work with us, but what's one out of three? You're just gonna create waves. It's a Robert and Jacob problem. So when you say that there's nothing getting done here, don't look at us like we're the problem. Robert and Jacob are the problem. Robert and Jacob and doing all their little bitch ass shit that they're doing, they're the problem, not us. And
Zach,
it's
Zach.
huh.
I appreciate it, and I understand that your struggles, I get it, but what
You
you're
don't
saying,
know.
no, I'm not.
I've literally
I hear what you're
they've
saying.
taken food out of my mouth, my family's mouth. I've struggled for the last 2 years of my life due to this.
Yeah.
And to put a time limit on what I'm saying, and I don't feel a time limit's needed. I feel if I went over 5 minutes that you guys wouldn't give me a problem because you guys are humans here and you're obviously here on volunteer time because you have an interest in something going on in this town. And I mean it's just it's a load of bullshit what's going on and we need to do what we can, and now's your chance to guys to actually step up and do something for this town. Something that everyone is crying for. No one's crying for a hike. No one's crying for this educational stuff. The people in here are crying for this. The people show up because of me. The people show up because of what's going on. There's nowhere to ride in this town.
Yeah.
There's people on the roads nonstop.
Like I've talked to you about it before, I don't, we all wanna understand what's going on, I do, I've talked to you many times, and I get it, but. Like I said before, we're just an EAC, man, we're here to, and to work and engage with our community about matters that involve the environment. And we have no power, we have no authority, we're just an educational committee, so.
I understand that, I understand that.
But when
It sucks that you guys are caught in the crossfire of this, but
Okay. So, right, but when you say the things that you're saying, you're not really asking us for help, you're just here.
I've been asking for help.
But we can't, we can give you no assistance, there's no one here that can offer you any assistance of any kind, because we're here just to educate the community on the environment.
And maybe you guys could just change the minds of the guys that do make the decisions.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't even talk to them, we're on completely different boards. I never see them, I don't know them, barely, I know them from,
Is the public comment not worth your time? Is this guy one of the guys that's getting replaced?
No, Ken is a member of the AC and Ken has health issues and you could be kind enough to understand that he's an older man, so.
Yeah, I mean, we all have.
He should be able to go home if he needs to go home, so.
Yeah, it's understand, or I mean,
Right.
I can be here at all times.
Not the jacket.
Okay. Yeah. So, I would like to be involved in this more. And I feel I have a lot to give to this as far as time, excuse me, sir. Time and, energy and knowledge and all that, and
I appreciate it.
the other two as well. So, I mean, if you're looking for community outreach, we got it.
I know
All
you
three
do.
of us.
Thank you very much, Zach.
There.
Anybody else? Okay. Make a motion to adjourn.
Oh, is there
Yes, sir.
time for one more?
Sure. Sure.
Hi, this is Elisa Byrne. I'm actually here with Hudson. So it's Elisa and Hudson Byrne. I apologize we weren't able to unmute ourselves. I just wanted to say that we wish that we were there. So actually, unlike most people that keep showing up, we have thoroughly enjoyed coming and being a part of the community. And we feel very much like, thank you, Zach, for the nice things you said. We are very willing to participate. I think Vicky would be a phenomenal addition to your board and your committee, as well as myself. My availability will not hold you hostage. Just wanted to jump on and say that we're here. We see you, we hear you, we appreciate you. Have a great night.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Elise.
I'd also like to say something quickly, if I could.
State your name,
My
please.
name is Katie Makovsky, 5112 Range Drive. And I'd like to say that Vicky has been outstanding in outreaching to everyone.
Got into it throughout the track too.
What the heck? Zach has been great. Also cleaning up. I've seen him do cleanups. He's done amazing stuff for the community. I would like to point out, maybe you guys could get with the supervisors to post your meetings on the Smithfield Township
This is our boy.
page because they don't get
That's
posted. And the link isn't included on their page. So we have to go like special routes to find your meetings. We do live right down the street. We are very actively involved in the community, water protection, all of this stuff. And I just was wondering if there's any way that you can maybe get them to post about your meetings on the official township page so that the rest of the community can be aware. Because I think a lot of people don't get to see what actually goes on. And they would if they knew about it. And that's
Alex can answer or comment. Yeah.
Yeah, I can comment, Mr. Chairman. So the township posts the agenda on the website. And it also, has has an area where people can access the YouTube, and the Zoom link on the website, and the agenda's up there, and so are the minutes. So, we are in compliance.
She's talking about the Smithfield Township Facebook page.
Oh, I don't
do
have-
it.
Yeah,
I
the official government Facebook page. It wasn't on there at all.
That'd be something to talk to the supervisors about.
They post the
Oh,
planning
okay.
commission, not zoning.
That's a good comment. Thank
the
you, Kat.
VLSP.
No
that
problem.
You got
Yeah.
to reach out.
Supervisors.
EAC
Figure out how to
meetings.
mute yourself.
Okay.
Yeah, so I don't have access to the
It
township.
kicked me off because when I was in here, I wasn't unmuted.
I have to talk to the township, but I can certainly talk to them and see what they need from me and.
Yeah, they're all
see what
friendly,
they-
fresh, and cool. They were all showing.
I'd appreciate that, and I think that the community
not
would like
tough.
to see more of
Mitch
this,
loves this.
and they're
I
just
agree.
unaware. That's what
I
I want to
agree.
agree with Mitch with that stuff,
Yeah.
because I think that a lot of people are unaware.
He
No,
Mitch.
totally.
Yes!
It's good to know, and I hope that when they do start posting, we get some more people.
Yeah,
That'd be great.
Thank you.
The crap at
Thank you.
crap at the end. I walked out, I didn't want to hear it all.
All right, I have half a sentence
I
and I'll
walked
rest
out,
my
I don't want to
case.
hear all
I
this.
just want to thank everybody for coming to the meeting. I want to say I agree with one of the public gentlemen with the comment that everybody in the community does have a lot to contribute. I want to commend Zach and everybody who has the back nine's interests for showing up. Again, I'm trying to get caught up on the case. There's a lot of details, but I think that
don't know
the
if they're gonna
fact that
vote
you show
Vicky
up
or anything.
in numbers and sacrifice your time is something that we should listen to. So I just want to go on the record and say that I commend you for showing up. I commend you for voicing your opinion. I would like to be somebody who works with the community, and ultimately we should all be solution oriented in getting to yes, as opposed to stagnation, which has happened for a year and a half now. So I just wanted to go on the record and say that. Again, a lot of details I don't know about yet, but ultimately I commend the public for showing up.